1 in 4.
1 in 4.
1 in 4 women.
1 in 4 women.
1 in 6.
1 in 6.
1 in 6 men.
1 in 6 men.
And 1 in 2 trans individuals
will experience sexual violence in their lifetime.
Up to 97% of these survivors
97% on a college campus
are harmed by someone they know and trust.
98% of the time, men are the primary perpetrators of interpersonal violence,
regardless of the gender of the victim.
Which is why we need to reframe the idea that sexual assault,
relationship violence, or stalking are women's issues.
Interpersonal violence is everyone's issue.
We really need to reframe the issue.
It's time for a reframe.
It's time for a reframe.
It's time for a reframe.
We need to reframe it as an issue that affects all of us.
For far too long, the conversation regarding interpersonal violence has been centered on what the victim should do or shouldn't have done to prevent their own sexual assault.
Ultimately, the only person that's responsible for violence is the person who chooses to commit the crime.
The person who chooses to commit it.
The person who chooses to commit it.
I think that many of us at CSU care so deeply about this issue.
But we might not know how to begin to create change.
We oftentimes have a very, very difficult time exploring issues of sexual violence.
So I know this can be a really hard conversation to have, but I know for me that the more I learned and the more I had these conversations, the easier it got.
Conditioning is essential to being a great athlete and to your performance. And so, like this, conversations can seem very difficult at the beginning, but if we lean into those conversations and really invest in our own growth and knowledge about how to intervene or how to really support, then that becomes easier.
Reframe is a campus-wide campaign aimed at getting us all to start thinking and acting differently to end interpersonal violence.
The Reframe campaign raises awareness and teaches skills aimed at addressing the issue of violence on campus.
For example, Reframe teaches us the importance of asking for consent before any sexual encounter.
Reframe helps us learn the basics about what a healthy relationship is and that control is not love.
Reframe teaches valuable skills for intervening in a situation that just doesn't feel right, or how to interrupt someone when they use victim-blaming language.
Reframe can help us practice what to say when a loved one or a close friend discloses that they're a survivor of sexual assault.
In a nutshell, Reframe will help us create a campus culture that welcomes the discussion about interpersonal violence, no matter what your experience on the topic may be.
Each semester we will launch a new reframe, which will take a commonly held myth about interpersonal violence and reframe it with facts, tools for dialogue, lots of educational information,
so that we all will feel empowered to make a change on campus.
For example, rather than saying don't get raped, we reframe it and say don't rape.
Don't rape.
Don't rape.
Don't rape.
At Colorado State University, we believe that feeling safe is fundamental to the life and integrity of our campus.
Unfortunately, CSU is not immune to interpersonal violence.
We care deeply about this issue and know that together we can make a difference.
It's time for a reframe.
It's time for a reframe.
So join us as we change the culture on campus.
CSU's work to prevent sexual assault begins here, addressing common myths, encouraging difficult conversations, and empowering us all to take the action needed to make our campus a safer place for everyone.